Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melisa Rodriguez. I am a third year medical student in Florida. I make content about medical school, and this specific video, as you can see from the title, is going to be a heavy one. I hesitated a lot on whether to film this video or not. Share this with you guys allows me to have some vulnerability, which is really hard in social media, and you often see a lot of the positive and a lot of the growth moments of the career that I share, but I don't often share the low sides, so I was just thinking through this, and there is probably other students that are going through this or have gone through this with. It could be with any of the exams that we have to take. I have taken so many exams throughout my career that, it could be MCAT, it could be step 1, or any of those very difficult exams. And after you go through this, you feel so alone, and you feel like everybody else is just continuing their journey while you're just stuck back for a little bit. So I wanted to just tell my story and just let you know that if that happens to you, you're not alone. And so yeah, we have a box of chocolates I'm gonna be opening in the video while I tell you, because we gotta have something to look forward to while I talk about a sad moment. But overall, this is gonna be a reflection of how things went, what I learned, how I recovered from this, and just looking to the future from here. So yeah, the exam that I did not pass was the psychiatry shelf exam. In my school, we take 3 exams at a time in the period of 2 weeks. So Friday we took OBGYN, Monday psychiatry exam, and then Friday we took pediatric exam. So we took 3 exams in 2 weeks, which I think it's fine. I mean, that's just the layout of how my school does it. But this exam took me off guard, and I didn't do amazingly in the other 2. So it was a matter of fact of preparation in general that didn't go as well. Multiple things went wrong when it came to this, and at that time, after I received this score, I just felt so low, and I just kept thinking, what did I do wrong? I felt so much guilt. I thank my family a lot and a few friends that I told to, that were so supportive in this moment, and allow me to express with them my feelings, because I wasn't going to tell anybody. I could talk to my family and friends for sure. For me, the most important part that allowed me to get out of the funk that I was in. So yeah, let me have one chocolate and we'll continue. But looking back, I have never had trouble passing any of my previous exams. I have done so many exams I can't even count with my hands throughout my career, and I have never struggled like that. So I thought if I just studied the content for clinicals while I was seeing patients, I'm gonna put some pieces of videos that I recorded while I was in my psychiatry rotation. I was having such a great time. I was learning a lot on how to do the mental status exam about all the different psychiatric illnesses, which I find and amazingly interesting. And I was just focused on learning in the hospital the clinical aspect of it, and there's such a difference between doing well clinically and doing well in standardized exams. Unfortunately and fortunately, we do have to take those exams, and I'm going to tell you the positive side of it. The positive side of it is that you're pushed to learn this content, and after third year you're gonna know the most you've known about all the different subjects before you choose to specialize in residency, right? So it does serve a purpose, and it prepares you for the steps later on, but unfortunately it's not the same studying for a clinical and being good with patients and doing well in exam. So like I said, it takes test taking skills. That is what I totally missed. I relied on just my memory, which I thought somehow was going to save me, because I did study. It wasn't like I didn't study. I studied a lot, and I didn't do enough practice questions. I didn't do especially enough timed practice exams to get used to the time limiting aspect of the exam. This is so important. The exam is 2 hours and 45 minutes for 110 questions, which compares to 1 minute and a half per question without taking any breaks at all. So if you like close your eyes for a little bit, for like 1 or 2 minutes, it's already less time you have per question at the end. So it's a matter of knowing how to go through the questions, choose an answer. Either you know it or you don't, and you move to the next and you move to the next. You cannot get stuck in one question. So if you get stuck in one question for like 3 minutes, you're already in a pressure for time. So that's exactly what happened to me. And there's other things that may have affected, like for example, not considering having a mouse during the exam, which limited a little bit of my my time. It wasted a lot of my time to do the notepad because I highlight during my exams. So all of that, affected it. And by the end of the exam, I was running. I had like 1 or 2 minutes left, and I didn't finish the last 10 questions. So basically, I guessed in the last 10 questions. And after I got out of the exam, I looked at one of my classmates. I remember, I'm not gonna say the name, but I look at him and I was like, I'm scared. I didn't do good. I had this gut feeling that I was not okay. And I just tried to, forget about it, pray that I passed it. By the end of the day, of course, I did not. So it was super hard for me. So what did that mean? In other words, I had to repeat the exam. Thank God it wasn't like a step exam, because otherwise I would have to repeat the whole year. But I had to repeat this exam. So basically I had to prepare all over again for this exam. Now, they allowed me some time to finish my rotation that I was currently doing. So I was doing internal medicine at that time. Like I mentioned in my other video, I had to basically shut off all of my feelings that I was dealing with after failing an exam for the first time in my life, and focusing on the patients only. And I learned a lot from that, and I was so thankful and proud of myself that I could do that. I basically put in priority my education that I was having in that particular rotation, and just decided to wait until I finished that rotation to focus on this other next problem that I needed to deal with. So after that meant that I did not have a winter break. Because after December you do get 2 weeks of winter break, but I didn't. I had to study for this exam that I was gonna take in the first days of January. So it was bittersweet to not be completely focused in my family and in the holidays and New Year's, all of that, because I had in the back of my mind that I had to take this exam. So all of those things, taught me a lot of how much I could do, how much I'm capable of doing, and I did it. How did I do it? I mean, I fought through it. I made a schedule. I met with a learning specialist at my school that kind of helped me figure out my plan. But I'm good with planners. I have been doing planning with me for a long time, since I started medical school. So it wasn't a problem of not knowing time management. So now that I had this time to study, I try to, focused on the test taking skills, I already had the notes, so that was a plus for me, and I reviewed the same notes that I had, and the rest was just taking questions and taking practice exams after practice exams. I went to Starbucks for 10-hour days and studied right before my exam. I did went to Cuba and I took my books. I studied because I couldn't cancel that trip because I was gonna go see my grandparents that I haven't seen in 3 years, and that for me was a very important trip to have. So I went for that 1 week, and then I came back and studied as much as possible, and ultimately did really well on my second try of the exam, which allowed me to continue my journey. Thank God, and I'm so grateful, and this was very needed wake up call. I'm not saying that I'm happy that this happened to me, but things happen for a reason, right? So it did teach me a lot about how much studying is needed before these shelf exams. And never underestimate an exam for however easy you think it's gonna be. This exam, the reason why I failed it and I did not fail the other ones was because since a lot of people do well in the psychiatry exam, it's really easy to fail it because you have very little leeway of questions, very little number of questions you could get wrong before you fail it. So that was exactly what happened. That will not happen to me again. I am very aware now of my limits and what I need to work on, and dealing with this has been a really difficult process in my medical school journey, but I have learned so much about myself, about my capabilities, on how to trust myself and not push myself down when these things happen to me, because it was not a matter of me not studying enough. It was a matter of organization and a matter of not understanding the system. So yeah, I'm very thankful, and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you could empathize with me a little bit, and if this ever happened to you, understand that you can't get over it and you can't rise from the ground and stand up again, be as courageous as you are. Because if we're here already in this career and we are being resilient with all of the challenges that this career brings, we should be able to overcome any of those rocks, like I call them, rocks in the path towards becoming a physician. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.